Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, committed to conservation and careful management of the state's forests to make them more resilient and better habitats for wildlife. ChooseWood.com.
We hope you enjoy listening to this podcast of St. Louis on the Air, brought to you by University College at Washington University, with undergraduate and graduate programs part-time, evening, and online. University College at Washington University, offering world-class education within reach.
If you're a fan of food from Thailand, you don't have to go to Bangkok. You can find the real thing right here in Dogtown. That's where a local couple live, cook, and serve authentic Thai cuisine. And that's the subject of this month's Soundbite segment, put together with our friends from Sauce Magazine. Joining me in studio are Heather Hughes, Sauce Managing Editor, Chelsea Helligy, and her husband, Ekachai Danwanichakul. I hope I have that right. A lot of letters in that last name, but we'll call you Ake, right?
Correct.
That's your nickname. Yep. Well, thank you so much for being there. Now that we've gotten through the name, let's talk about what we're here to talk about. Heather, I'll start with you. We've done had a number of discussions here on the program regarding a growing number of Thai restaurants in town. Mm-hmm. Where does this one fit in?
Well, I think in a lot of ways, it doesn't. Something that I find most interesting about what they're doing is they're doing things that Thai restaurants would have a really hard time doing. Thai restaurants sell to an American audience who are used to seeing the same dishes, familiar things like pad Thai or green curry, and the flavors can't be exactly what they would be for a Thai audience. So at Spirit House, you can get Thai cuisine that's more like home cooking. They can spend more time on dishes than restaurants have available, and they have flavor profiles that some people dining in St. Louis wouldn't be used to or wouldn't be interested in. But it's sort of a self-selecting group of those truly interested in authentic, home-cooked Thai cuisine.
Ike, how did this whole idea come into being? I mean, you're doing it in your home.
Yeah.
Spirit House is your home.
Yeah, well, so me and my wife, Chelsea, we love to eat food in general, especially Thai food. I'm originally from Thailand, and every time I go out and eat Thai food around here, more often than not, disappointed, came back home, And me and my wife were decided we want to take the matter in our own hands, and we want people that we know to try authentic food that we cook at home. That's what it came about.
Chelsea, how does the system work?
Oh boy. Well,
move in a little bit to the microphone.
Sure. So, it's basically kind of a supper club, for lack of a better term. Essentially, we just announce our, next supper or our next two suppers through email, usually. So our followers should be on our email list if they're interested in finding out about our suppers. And so we announce through email, and literally just the first people who are able to get to us to grab those seats, those are the ones that we'll invite for the next secret supper, we call them.
Do they pay for the privilege of
They do, yeah. We currently ask for basically a donation of $35 per head. And that pretty much covers the food cost, and we almost always need to buy something to make the supper happen. So, like, our kitchen is pretty ill-equipped, actually. We have found out through doing these suppers, and so we often will need to buy, we want to serve cow soy, so we have to buy a set of bowls to serve cow soy in because we don't have that. Maybe we have two for us. Or we need to buy, a steamer pot to make cow tomat, which is very old school Thai dessert, which was mentioned in the sauce issue. Mm-hmm. We have to buy a lot of stuff to make just one of these dinners happen.
And from what I can see, some of that food is prepared on the back porch.
Yeah, in the summer, we make some dishes that we cannot make inside because it needs high heat to cook. So I bought this cookware
Like a walk,
like
an outdoor walk,
right? Outdoor
setup.
walk that can produce a lot of high heat. And so I cooked this particular dish that I throw a vegetable in the wok and it caught on fire. Obviously, I cannot do that inside.
Right.
Tell me something about what makes the food that you prepare special and different.
I think right off the bat, it's not about money. We want to make food that we think it tastes like Thailand. And I'm from Thailand. Chelsea's been to Thailand with me so many times. We want that experience, that flavor for people around here to taste.
And what gives it that flavor? I mean, what special spices or ingredients make your food different?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's certain ingredients. It's seasonal here in St. Louis, but for the most part, you can get that stuff at the grocery store here, international grocery store here. What makes it different? I think I don't take shortcut to make a dish.
Yeah.
Like I could stir fry that vegetable dish inside, but it's gonna be soggy. I do that outside to get that kind of hot wok taste. That kind of stuff.
Are we dealing with a lot of fish, a lot of meat, a lot of
That's correct.
everything?
Oh, yeah.
All of the above.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah. We've kind of made jokes at people who have very reasonably asked if we're ever going to have like a vegetarian supper, and that's definitely on our radar, something we would love to offer in the future. But it's actually kind of hard to offer a whole supper with, different courses or different dishes to try that are all vegetarian, because they're like so kind of like animal product centric in Thailand. Even something that you would peg as vegetarian as, say, like a vegetarian green curry, that's usually actually not vegetarian. It's got fish sauce, maybe shrimp paste in it, and a lot of people probably unwittingly eat these things when they order them at restaurants.
There was as I watch you, and as slim and as trim as you are sitting here talking, there was a great line in Matt Sorrell's piece in Sauce magazine saying that when you went to Thailand, the way they eat for you, it was like running a food gauntlet.
Yes. Yes, it's almost like competitive eating, yeah. And he can attest to this. I'm like, is this normal? I'm always like, are they showing off because there's guests, and okay, yeah, maybe a little bit there, but for the most part, like when we sit down to eat with his family, it is just ridiculous.
Heather, have you been to Spirit House?
I have not yet. We were talking about that on the way in. I keep missing the weekends, but I'm really looking forward to it. The dishes that you see on their Instagram account, which is one of the ways we were introduced to Spirit House, is just nothing else you can find here. And I was going to say before, you said none of the ingredients are too weird. You can find them at international grocery stores, but there are some differences in the way that you make things that I've noticed, which is there were some funny posts about no bell peppers or something like that.
We're pretty passionate about that.
It's not just what's in there, it's what's not. So we are more familiar with more Americanized versions of these dishes, and more familiar with substitutes in certain things, like the Thai holy basil is not the same thing as a sweet basil, but if you get it at a restaurant, most have subbed in sweet basil, which has a different flavor than the original that the dish calls for.
Ake, is there any potential, do you think, for expanding this and establishing a brick and mortar restaurant?
I don't know. That's
Sweat
we don't know
beads.
how to answer
Right.
that question. We're just doing it for fun right now. Our goal is to just having fun with it. We don't looking into the future that far. We just do it every week after week.
Yeah, I would second that. I have a tendency to, before I start a project, I want to know, like, well, what is this for? Like what are we going to do with this? What's the end game? And to start this, I was like, well, we have to be comfortable with not having an end game. Let's just do it just to do it. Because it's as much of a food passion project as it is, it's also kind of like a socio-cultural discussion, at the end of every meal. We kind of, around dessert, when everyone's finishing dessert, we kind of tend to sneak in and just start chatting with people. And, and we ask them about like, what Thai food do you like? Have you been to Thailand? Like, what did you like most about this meal? And we just kind of get a discussion going. And honestly, that's kind of, that's been our
Right.
primary goal from the start, is just to start a discussion.
Right, and we've met so many great people over the past months. They are great, and I would love to hang out with them again if I see them on the street.
Yeah, seriously. Heather, earlier you said that it was a self-selecting group, and I think that is very true. And that's been something that's really helped us is, people have asked us, aren't you nervous, like inviting people you don't know? And I was like, well, maybe at first, but it is a self-selecting group where, people are generally really nice, really cool. They're open to trying something new. And I would love to hang out with any of these, cool people who came over.
It is. We were talking in the office before about how this is a great example of what underground dinners or pop-up dinners have become now, which is it's not like a secret you need to know somebody entirely. It's all available on the internet. You operate through Instagram really well. And it's sort of like all the people who come to your dinners, it's self-selecting, so you already have somewhere to start. You share an interest automatically. It's like the Tinder for restaurant eating or something. You can find what you like, and it's a social experiment as well as a food experiment. I think it's really neat to see how this has progressed and change in the interest that you've garnered just through having an Instagram account is amazing.
Pop-up is a term that's really popped into our vocabulary
more and more
recently.
people.
What exactly does it mean in the restaurant world?
Well, we've talked about it much more often as a thing that chefs opening new restaurants will do to garner interest and to show people what they're going to be. So, like before Pirano opened, they had a bunch of lunches at the Cortex, I think, and a lot of restaurants are doing that to show what they're going to be, and then they just open a brick or mortar and it's a full-on place. But there's also dinner series that can happen that you'll sign up online and they're in event spaces or something like that. It's just a great way, and a great way for people like you guys to get into the food business without it being a primary money-making scheme. Like, this is not your job. This is something that you love to do, but it's an incredible way to share that with people who aren't your friends.
Getting back to the food for a moment, Ake, let me ask you, Chelsea mentioned dessert a little while. What would be a typical dessert for a Thai meal?
For a Thai meal? That's actually the whole category by itself in Thailand.
Totally.
I don't know right off the bat, but it would be something slightly sweet, slightly salty. Those two flavors kind of like combine and tangle.
Most of them incorporate coconut. I would say
That's
a good
right.
deal.
Probably
incorporate.
90% of Thai dessert, one way or another, use coconut.
And what sort of beverage would people be drinking when they're eating a Thai dinner?
Of course, Thai tea. That is not too sweet.
We
Thai coffee.
We have not gotten into that territory though, because
Right.
it's pretty. Honestly, in Thailand, I can't drink Thai tea because it's so sweet.
How about alcohol? I mean, what, beer or wine or?
Yeah, we do drink beer in Thailand.
Thai beer.
Yeah, it's Singha or Chang beer, just any local beer. Basically, is a very, very light lager. It goes really well with Thai food, which
Very
is
refreshing.
spicy, because you probably don't want to drink a porter when 100 degree outside in Thailand. So.
Oh my God, that sounds terrible.
Do you serve alcohol during your
We do,
dinners?
yeah. Our guests get a complimentary drink, so whenever they come in, we give them their welcome drink if they want one, and it's their chance to just kind of sit down and like meet everybody and settle in and kind of get comfortable, But yeah, we serve just Thai beer. that's what you would drink in Thailand. But in Thailand, they would always serve it to you with a glass of ice.
That's right.
So people listening now would like to get in on this and try some of that delicious food. How do they go about it? You mentioned Instagram, but how do they get to you?
Yeah, so what we've set up is you just go to our Instagram, and we have a link there at the top that you can click. So just follow that link and click our it'll take you to a place where you can sign up for our email once you click that link. And so once you're on our email list, that's how you will get to know about supper dates in the future.
Okay, well, we'll put that information on our website at stlpublicradio.org. Heather, only a few seconds left. Do you think this is something that might catch on, this concept?
I think it already has. I think this is an example of a popular way of trying new foods, trying new cuisines, buying in for a full night to just see what people like Chelsea and Ake can do.
Yeah, using their own home as the venue, as it were.
So fun.
Well, well, thank you all so much for being with us. Most interesting. I wish you best of luck and success as you continue with this operation. And one of these days, maybe you'll be opening a restaurant. Huh?
Maybe. You never
Maybe
know.
we
We're
will see.
looking for investors.
We got a
Sorry,
nod and a shake of
I
the
have
head
to leave.
at the same time.
Thank you all, Chelsea,
Thank
Ake,
you.
and
Thanks for having
Heather.
us.
Thank you for being with us.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, committed to conservation and careful management of the state's forests to make them more resilient and better habitats for wildlife. ChooseWood.com.